Hey guys, it's Carol and thank you for stopping by for my stitching update. I hope that you enjoyed the whip parade I had for New Year's, and I'm back here for my first of the regular stitching updates for 2023. I have this covers work going back through before Christmas. I have a little bit of stuff to share, but also I'm going to kind of share with you, I have a broad overview of what I want to do with 2023 and my stitching, but I'm going to kind of give you that top level view because I'm not doing a very good job. I'm filling in the weekly view, but I haven't really kind of made it workable yet. I haven't accounted for the days when I don't stitch, so I'm still working on that. But like I said, I do have actually goals for this year that I think are really achievable, and I'm kind of like the system that I'm working with right now. It's doing pretty well for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with the whips that I've had since last time. First up is Modern Folk Embroidery's The Fruit of Plenty. Yes, I'm still working on this February card. I can't wait until the bottom says March. It's okay, I'm getting there. Here's where it was last time. Okay. And this is where we are today. I'm most of the way through February. This is really exciting. This one I've gotten a fair amount of work with. It has been going with me to sports events. Been lots of sports, wintertime. One of my kids wrestles, so this has been going to local wrestling tournaments and games. I don't sit at practices, so, but anyway, this motif is filled in. Now the break for the card is right about here, so I don't finish out this entire triangle. I'm gonna fill in down here, get the, kind of matches this side over here, and that will have February done. I am hoping that I get all the way through the February card by the end of January, because this is one of my hoped for finishes for this year. Had some visitors this last weekend and I didn't have anything to keep my hands busy. It was a gaming session. I wasn't part of the actual campaign. I was just watching. And so I decided that I wanted something that was kind of easy for me to follow. So I kind of went with my almost biggest count project that I have, which is Ink Circles Tapestry. I am doing this on a 30 count, which is why I went ahead and chose to use it. And yeah, I know I don't pull this one out a lot, so I'm just happy that I made any progress. Here's where it was last time. Okay, and this is where it is today. I didn't do a huge amount on this. So I've decided the best way to handle this project is to only go a little bit at a time. So I didn't get a huge amount done, but I sat down and just kind of got all of these sleeves done and didn't get to starting the flower. I kind of was hoping to, but it's something, this wasn't here before, it makes me feel good, and it's so pretty. It's just, like I said, I think it's because there's not good blocks of color, so it just, for whatever reason, it's stitching style. I think it really boils down to stitching style. I love the colors on it, I love the effect. I think it just doesn't let me get some of what I really love to do, so I'm feeling like I'm always starting and stopping this. I think that was the one thing I noticed when I was working in this. I didn't do a huge amount, but it was just, like I said, I think it's a stitching style. That's okay. Like I said, I wasn't even planning on touching this at all, in the first part of 2023, and I did, so winning. Another piece that I'm hoping to have done this year is Modern Folk Embroidery's Ave Maria. Here's where it was last time. And this is where we are. So I am starting to work. This is in that top border. I think there is a little bit right up here, but otherwise this is the top. This is actually the center motif right here. I am happy with it. I mean, I'm gonna say that a lot. I'm happy with the progress, but it was kind of nice for me to start getting to feel okay, there is this stuff to fill up here. It's relatively easy to stitch. This is almost, I think it's one short of the corner. I got it close, but I'm not really good with counting when I start getting this many off. So I wanted to take this down and kind of bring it together. But yeah, it's actually kind of, I'm oh, okay, it's not just Gabriel. It's, in fact, like I said, a lot of the work that's the actual finishing the piece is going to be all of this stuff that goes all the way around. So talk about this one a little more later. Around Christmas, I was really feeling some full coverage, so I decided that it would be a good time to pull out Custom Crafts Autumn Chapel, and this is where it was last time. And this is where we are today. I got another, this is actually a finished all but where it comes in here. this entire set. So this piece is actually about 2,100 stitches done. It doesn't really feel like it yet, but the cool thing is, as I've been advancing, I really do get more of a feel of, okay, there is a tree here and another tree and another tree. It is also getting in some of these lighter green colors, I think is kind of making it look nice. In the sense it's not just green and gold and dark blobs. I don't know, that's really like descriptive. Blobs. But the problem is like, okay, so I have so much of this done, and this is the nature of full coverage, unfortunately. But right now it's still like there's color changes, but I haven't gotten to the focus part of the piece. So there's really not a lot. I don't want to say there's a lot of detail, but good art doesn't have really, really obsessive detail up in the corners. Like should be drawn over here where it hasn't been stitched, where in this case it's going to be the church. So I think I will be like, the nice part about how I'm doing this is I'm gonna get over to the big stretches of the sky. Really, they start like right here. So that should kind of speed up that stitching. And I don't know, I'm kind of hoping that I'll start running into something other than just trees. It won't be for a little bit, but not as far off as I think I initially thought it would be. And also, because I was feeling full coverage, I went ahead and pulled out Heaven and Earth Designs Mini Interior of Tinter and Abby. This is the one I'm doing as a stitch along with my sister. Here's where I was last time. And this is my progress. Well, I at least finished row 2. Okay, cool. So this one is also about 2,100, maybe this is probably more. This is probably closer to like 2,300 stitches, based on that I do have a decent amount done in here. And this is almost done. Kind of guessing. I haven't actually done a good job of calculating. Okay, so this one is the one I'm doing as a stitch along with my sister. I am ashamed to say my sister is done with page 1. She is like down here in page 2. So she has like all these trees filling in. She is like just a rock star at this, and here I am like, I'll get there eventually. But it is so pretty. And I am hoping to spend a little more time in January on this one, but I just haven't, I haven't touched this one in about 2 weeks. But I will say, I love it. I love this sky, and this is right here. It's actually beginning like clouds. It's not really obvious yet, but I figure that by the time I get down into this row, it should be clearer, because right now I'm just doing sky. It's really, I don't want to say it's not that interesting, but I'm looking forward to seeing the building come into play. Seeing my sister is just like, I want to like catch up with her. There is no way I'm going to be able to catch up with her, but it is really pretty. And I'm actually going to ask her if she'll let me put her photos that she's sending me, just so you can see like the difference in our stitch along, but also so you can kind of see what it looks like. But I have to ask her, maybe next video. If you've been watching me for any length of time, it should be no surprise that Mirabilia's Autumn Queen is coming back out yet again. I say okay, yet again, just because I feel like I have obviously held this pattern up a bunch in the last year, but I have gotten such a good amount of progress. Like, after months of not feeling it, I have just loved working on this. Even my not beloved Whisper. Here's where it was last time. And I have to like lean really far back. I'm actually gonna have to, in the future, check to make sure that I have a good focus. Just based focal length of the camera and all that. Anyway, as you can see, I have like, her bodice is basically done. I do not know what this is supposed to be. Like, it's really pretty. Don't you love the shininess? So it's supposed to be one of the metallic DMCs. I loathe with every fiber of my being, the metallic DMC threads. I don't even have I like the Krynic, but for this, I went for the gold. I didn't even look at the Krynic. I went to the Petite Treasure Braid, and I love it. Like, absolutely, in person, this thing, like, I don't even want to say glitters. It is just like, so much going on as far as the banalic. But so I guess this is like some sort of like really like heavily embroidered, I don't know, because it like drapes across the top of her bodice. I think this is like underneath the teal is the actual bodice. I don't know what kind of overlay this is supposed to be. Whatever. it's just really, really pretty. And like I said, I mean, I don't know how well you can see it because the Whisper looks almost pretty much exactly like the background white over here, but I've actually like been making an effort to keep up as I'm doing the cloak up here. Yeah, this one I've just been really motivated. I'll have days when I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be working on something else, and then I'm like, but hello, Autumn Queen, I want to work on you today. So I'm really excited. Like, I'm the next right above here, I get into the skin tones right at her collarbone, so I'm very excited. Like, this one is really on track. I know I originally wanted to have it done last year, but whatever. This one will be done this year. I promise. And I won't break my promise this time. The last piece that I've been working on recently, this is actually my focus piece for January, and this is Heartstring Samplery Coffee Quaker. Here's where I was last time. And here's today. I finished this motif. This one is almost done. And so as you can see, I am going down to this right corner. You can see this has got a huge margin on this fabric. So there's like basically like one thing here and then like one corner. So it's not a lot like going down here so much. And I'm just basically, the tactic I've taken with this one is going for just finish a motif. So before me going into anything else, I'm going to finish this one. There's like 2 more lines of stitching at the bottom of this vase. The colors are actually over also in this one, which is why I haven't finished it, but I am basically trying to do it a motif at a time and see how I feel. It's really picked up my enjoyment of this, and I feel like it's really going places, which is nice because like I finished a motif and it's basically like 4% of a project. So, because when I finished this one, I went from like 33% done to like 37.5%. So that was really nice. I haven't even recalculated based on this one. So it's really, like I said, it's helped moving this one along, which is exciting because I never intended for this one to still be hanging around. Like I picked this out as a smaller sampler, so it should be done. It will be. So talking 2023 plans, one of the things that I decided that I really need, last year I got only 2 finishes done, and neither, a Prairie Garden was a pretty good sized project. I mean, it was most of a fat quarter, but Joyful Summer really wasn't that big of a project, and no, it is still not fully finished. I have all the pieces for it, I just haven't sewn it up. It's the story of my life. Whatever. Actually, I mean, speaking, like, I'll just make the side note. Unfinished projects are both something I do to myself repeatedly and the bane of my existence. And I do it to myself. Like, you would think, no matter, and I've been doing this my entire life. So, in a totally not surprising turn of events, I now have myself an ADHD diagnosis, which kind of clued me in on the whole, like, oh, I start projects, and I start them because that dopamine hit of starting is amazing, because basically dopamine doesn't work correctly in my brain. It's spent enough time researching it anyway, but it means that's not enough to propel me through and finish it, which is fine, but willpower is not all that. Like, it does some of it, but honestly, there's something to be said for just some self-discipline and say, this is what I'm going to do to get this one to a finish. And for the longest time, I mean, it worked really well. I was a monogamous stitcher forever, like ever and ever and ever. And then I was like, okay, I'll add in one project. And actually, like, 2 project rotation works really well for me. The problem is, then I got, starting's fun. So I start things faster than I finish them. And I don't want to get into the perpetual starting machine and never finish. So how I'm going to handle this is I have already decided that I'm going to have minimum, these are my plans, 4 projects that I'm going to finish this year, 1 per quarter. And I picked ones that I think that are actually attainable in a every 3 months chunk of time, and that they're not going to just be small projects. If I get small projects done along the way too, fantastic, but they're not going to be like how I'm hoping to get there. The next piece is that I'm also only going to give myself 2 starts this year, and at least 2 planned. And they're ones that I've already talked about before. I don't have the materials for them, so I'm not even going to go into them right now, because my idea of like starting them is later on, maybe late spring. I really need to get at least 1 finished before I even like talk about starting. And so what I did is I sat down with my calendar and said, okay, if I want to get something done by the end of March, what is my most likely candidate? What I came up with is, in fact, Coffee Quaker. This is not a very large design. Moreover, I'm now at roughly 40% done of it. So this is going to be, it's my focus piece, not just for January. It's basically my focus piece for January, February, March. And what that means is that I'm going to be working on it every week, but also that for each of, okay, counting each month is 4 weeks, that at least 2 of those weeks, it's my focus piece. So it's going to be getting at least 3 days of stitching for at least 2 weeks a month, in this case for at least 3 months. So the idea, and it's written in my calendar, so I planned it out, actually my weekly focus pieces from now until the end of March. So for January, my focus pieces, I've had Autumn Queen was 1 week focus, Coffee Quaker is actually this week's focus piece. The first week I didn't actually have a focus, I'm only 2 weeks into this plan. 1 week it's going to be Winter Queen, and then I'm going to go back to Coffee Quaker. So basically the idea is do a project, Coffee Quaker, or pick a random one that I want to fill in. Coffee Quaker, random one, Coffee Quaker, and do that through the end of March. And by that point, with enough days concentrating on it, I should be able to get it done. Okay, cool. So I also have a June finish. My planned June finish is Autumn Queen. So basically once Coffee Quaker is done, where it's been doing that every other week, Autumn Queen slots in and does that every other week. And I'm good, and that's okay. The weeks that it's not the focus piece, it's still going to get at least 1 day of stitching, and that's how I've kind of figured out roughly if I'm in a routine, I will get about 250 to 300 stitches done per day, roughly. So anyway, so I'm been doing more Autumn Queen just because I've been enjoying it. But like I said, once Coffee Quaker is done, then Autumn Queen, we'll get that every other week, at least 3 days to have it done by June 30th. And then September's focus piece is going to be Ave Maria. So once Autumn Queen is done, it'll slot in. Now, I don't expect me to I'm not going to get Coffee Quaker done, say middle of next month, and then have Autumn Queen done by April. I do not I expect I'm going to be kind of running up against the deadline, not on purpose, but just the knowing my stitching pace, that seems to be reasonable. And it should work. We'll see if it falls apart by the summer. Right now I have like I said, I picked weekly focus pieces. February's I will talk about in my next video. But Winter Queen is going to be coming out as a focus piece next week. And then the week after that, it's going to be going back to Coffee Quaker. And then I think it's the first week of February's mini interior of Tintern Abbey. So we'll see. Like I said, September 30th, hopefully Ave Maria is done. And then for the very end of the year, December 31st, my plan, fingers crossed, Fruit of Plenty. Which is one of the reasons I said I hope that I got the February card done by the end of January, because I want to kind of be able to work ahead, because if I'm getting to, oh, it's August and I'm only working in the August card, it's going to be a lot of work to get it done by the end of the year. That's why I left that one to last. It is the farthest from being done, so obviously it has the most work left, and it's the one that is easiest for me to fall behind. The other 3 are really, really doable. Fruit of Plenty is going to be the hard one. But I think I can do it. I think that using the weekly focus pieces is a way to help me. And the nice part when I sit and do the week, so I have the focus pieces, like I said, I've already picked out for all of this quarter. But the rest of the week, I get to kind of, as I sit down at the beginning of the week, what do I want to work on? What am I feeling right now? That's why tapestry just was it was the right answer for that day. So there we go. And it was on a Saturday. I also don't do a great job of stitching on weekends. So it makes, for me, doing my focus pieces means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I will get the most work done on those days compared to trying to make it a weekend piece. That doesn't happen. That's when I fill in the smaller, what do I feel like working on, as opposed to, so I'm kind of leaving the weekends as what do I feel like at any given time. And then I'm also making a note of the days that if I write something down, I told myself a week and a half ago I was going to be working on Fall Carousel House. Didn't happen. And that's fine. So what I did, I just wrote I put the X over that day so that I get an idea of, hey, when am I not stitching? Is it the same days repeatedly? Like days of the week, just because that's kind of the rhythm of my life. I don't know, so we'll kind of see how it goes. I hope it goes well. Kind of have no idea, but only way to find out is to give it a try. But I will say that narrowing down what I want to focus on, I feel better about it, and it's allowing me to be disciplined. Also, not gonna lie, getting medicated is helping too. Oh well, yeah. Anyway, so if you have any like thoughts, like, hey, things that work for you as far as like planning on getting your stitching projects done, or if you're like totally going by the seat of your pants and love it, that sounds great. Share it in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. I really do try to respond to each and every comment. I'm not always the best at it, but I really do try. So thank you so much for stopping by. If you like the content, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.